Welcome back to Miss and Mrs. I'm Shatara.
I'm Elise. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe below.
So today we will be having our Father's Day video. We are so excited about that. I'm really excited because Elise went to Georgia, so she was able to interview her father.
Yes.
He's an amazing father. I've known him since I was in the 3rd grade. You know, I love your dad. I mean, I love your parents, period. But, you know, I love your dad. I love the relationship that you guys have. He's a really awesome father with so much wisdom to give. So we wrote down some questions to ask him. He gave some really good advice. And I just want you guys to check it out.
So thank you, Daddy, for doing that for us. I was kind of nervous. I mean, because while I talk to my daddy all the time about any and everything, we've never actually sat down and talked about the things that we talked about. So it was really good. I mean, I've heard some stories that I've never heard before. I learned some things about him that I had no clue about. So it was just really good to be able to sit down and have that conversation with him.
That is so special.
It was. And it was emotional. Like, I didn't expect it to be so emotional. Like, if you know my daddy, he like joke and play around all the time, but he's super easy to talk to. And I mean, you can always go to him for advice. I mean, whether you take it or not, but
he gonna give some good sound advice.
Yes. So I mean, just being in a room with him and having the discussion we had, it was emotional, and it was like. What
is one thing that you would take away that you will never forget?
He told a story about his father, and while he was telling the story, I don't think he realized how much of himself that I see that he told from that story about his father that I see within mine.
Oh, okay.
And I was just sitting there like, but this is you. And I mean, I didn't know my grandfather. He passed away before I think I turned 1.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, I'm sure I met him, but I don't remember. But the things that he talked about his father, and I was just like, this is who you are. And so it just made me really grateful to have a grandfather like that, because he gave me the father that I have.
Aww.
So I was just like, wow, like, generational things are real. And it brought me back to when my daughter was dedicated at church, and Pastor Brian was like, you're not just raising Bailey for Bailey, you're raising Bailey for your grandkids and her grandkids and her grandkids. And it made me think of that when he was talking about his dad. I was like,
are you getting emotional now?
I am because it's just crazy how God works and how amazing life is. And I'm just so appreciative for my daddy, because I mean, when you grow up with something, you don't realize other people lack it. And so having the father that I have, I'm just so grateful for it. So, oh my gosh.
It's just getting emotional. But he's a very kind, and he's very kind. Like, he has such a gentle spirit about him. And he just always makes you feel welcome. So happy Father's Day.
Yes,
Mr. Hart.
Father's Day,
we love you. We appreciate you. I want to say happy Father's Day to my dad, Joe, my stepfather, Ray. Happy Father's Day to you both. I'm trying to think, and all of my friends out there. I know a lot of great guys that are some awesome fathers. So I just want to say happy Father's Day to all of you. And keep doing your thing. Like, Black men, of course, matters. Black lives matters. But Black dads matter.
They do.
So we just want to say happy Father's Day. Continue to build those relationships with your kids. And even, like, one thing I admire about you and your dad, like, y'all have a real, like, father. Well, he has it with all his kids. But y'all have real father-daughter relationships. And that's special. You know what I mean? But yeah, Black dads matter. And you definitely matter with your daughters.
Absolutely.
You know, so happy Father's Day to you. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're not going to leave the fellas hanging. We have a Father's Day giveaway for you as well. So this is what you need to do. So, and anybody can do this, but in order for your husband, brother, son, whoever is a father in your life, watch the video, like it, share it, And then comment the father's name on any of our social media platforms that you see the video on, so that we'll put their name in the box like we did with the women and pull out a name.
Yes.
So just comment the father's name in the bottom of our video or whatever social media platform you watch it on, so we can add their name to the drawing.
Yes. So happy Father's Day, fellas. Happy Father's Day, Daddy. Happy Father's Day, Eric and Brian. Those are my brothers. You guys are great fathers, and I know your children appreciate you, even when they act like they don't. They do.
All right, guys. So take a look at this amazing, special, teary-eyed, emotional, encouraging, inspiring interview that Elise did with her dad.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, and share with other men. I'm telling you. Share with other men, all ages.
Hi guys, it's Elise from Missing the Missus, and today I am in Georgia with Dr. Ralph Hurd, who happens to be my daddy, and author of Father and Son Relationships, which is available on Amazon. The link will be down below in the description box. So Father and Son Relationships was written in 2014. And Ralph, my daddy, has 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters, 6 grandchildren, and 1 on the way. Not mine, but 1 on the way. So I guess we'll start with, what was your father's name?
Okay. My father's name was, and a lot of people don't know, Jimmy Stevens Hurd.
Jimmy Stevens Hurd.
Yeah.
Stevens was middle name?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Did you have a good relationship with your father?
We didn't have a bad relationship, but for most of the time he was off working in another state for a lot of the time. Okay. And we were just home with my mother.
Okay.
Until her death.
And you grew up in
Sprott, Alabama.
Alabama.
75 miles from Birmingham. That's southwest of Birmingham.
And how old were you when your mother passed away?
12 years old.
Okay. And so how did your father's relationship with the children change after that?
Well, at that time...
But you're the youngest.
Exactly. At that time, only one was at home was myself and my brother that's next to me, or right older than I am, is John. And it was us 2 at home when my mother passed. And at that time, my father was working in Florida.
Okay. Yeah. What did he do?
Janitorial work.
All the way in Florida?
Yes. Oh. See, at that time in Sprott, Alabama, you had 2 choices. You work in the field picking cotton, or you did what they call pulpwood.
Pulpwood?
Yeah. That's why you cut wood, trees out in the woods. You cut them to 8 feet length, and you put them on this truck, and you haul them to the paper mill, and you get money for it. But back in those days, most of the people around there didn't have loaders for the trucks, so you actually have to pick these big sticks up by hand. Sometimes 2 people have to do it to put it on the truck. And my dad wasn't able to do that kind of stuff, so he had to go off other places and work.
Okay. But would you consider your father a good father?
I would consider my father a good father.
Was he was a good example for you?
Yes, he was. Yes,
okay.
He was.
Well, is there any lessons or anything that sticks out to you that your father taught you or raised you in a certain way that stuck with you when you became a father?
Well, there's actually a couple of things about my father that stays with me. Like Well, you know, back in the days that I was growing up, and in the days that my father grew up, there was a lot of racial tensions in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, people of the opposite race could just about say or do anything to you that they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this one occasion that my father was at home when I was outside playing, and this white man came up to the house, and I don't know what the business was, because I was, you know, like I said, I was a young guy,
Mm-hmm.
and all I know, he started yelling and cussing at my father.
Mm-hmm.
And my father stood there and just took it and listened, didn't say anything. And at that time, I wanted to hit the guy in the head with a hoe. But as I grew older, I knew that my father did the right thing, because if he had said anything to this guy at this time, or him and his buddy been back that night, and I wouldn't have a father.
Right, right.
So he
Wow.
he had patience and the wherewithal, you know, to do the best thing for the family at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And another very thing that my father did when he was sick, he had got sick, and we was talking about something. I can't remember what we was talking about, but I guess he knew he was gonna die in a few months or something, and he told me that. Oh yeah, I asked him because they wanted to operate on him or something because he had a lump in his chest, and they wanted to operate, but he didn't want anybody cutting on him. So I said, "Are you gonna have the operation?" He said, "No, I'm ready to go. When the Lord get ready for me, he can come get me." Like he wasn't afraid of death at all, period. And that stuck with me. I like, man, you're not afraid of dying? And I didn't understand that until I got to know the Lord for myself. So now I understand why he wasn't afraid of dying, because he's going to be with the Lord.
Okay. So that's actually something that I admire about you, especially when you do eulogies, because you've done 2 of your brothers' eulogies.
Yes.
So, I mean, when you give eulogies, I already feel like that's a hard thing to do, but to give your brother's eulogy, I feel like you've always done a really good job with that. And that's something that I admire about you when it comes to talking about death or dealing with death. I feel like you deal with it and handle it in a way that makes it easier for everyone. So I think that's really important. So I guess you got that from your daddy.
Yes, I did. Yes.
That's cool. That's a story I never heard before. You want to share anything else about your dad before we move on?
No, you can move on.
How old were you when your dad passed away?
That's a good question. 32 or something in there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was probably like 1.
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that day. We was in Waukegan. Donnie heard my nephew was up there then, and I was up on I think it might have been his car working. No, I was on somebody else's car working, and him and Arthur came where I were while I was under the car working. And they told me my father passed.
And he was in Alabama?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
wow.
I took the news, and then I went on back and finished fixing the car.
So you was kind of at peace with that?
I was at peace
because
with that
you knew he was
because I
at
knew
peace.
That day that me and him was sick together. I knew it was good.
Okay. That's a good story. So how old were you when you first became a father?
Let me see. I believe 21, right?
21?
How old is Brian?
Brian is 41.
41.
He'll be 42. I think he'll be 42.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
You know I don't know math.
Let's see. I must have been 23 then.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah.
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 20.
Do you remember your first thoughts when you found out you had a child on the way?
Well, that was back in the days when alcohol was my first love.
Do you remember how old you were when you started drinking?
Going into the 11th grade.
What?
Yes.
In high school?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How did you even get a hold of alcohol in the 11th
Same
grade?
way you did when you was in 10th grade.
I was not.
When did you start
I
drinking?
was 21.
Oh. Well, yeah, but I mean, in Alabama at that time, you could get it moonshine from anybody you saw.
Oh.
Everybody was making it around there.
Oh my goodness.
And everybody was drinking beer, and anytime you go out to a party, because we had house parties, because wasn't nothing else to do in the country. You
Right.
go to somebody's house, they throw another little shindig, and you get out there and you drink it with the guys.
Drink. Wow. Okay. So, back to the question. Do you remember your first thoughts?
Yeah, sort of, kind of like, okay,
Surprised, excited,
I hope it's a
scared?
boy.
Oh, you hope it's a boy.
Yeah.
And you got that.
Yes, I did.
You was excited about that?
Mhm,
Did
yeah.
y'all know it was a boy before he got here?
I don't remember that.
Cause I don't know. I mean, I don't know when ultrasounds and stuff started.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, she could have told me it was a boy, and I might have forgot. Hey, got here.
Were you excited when he got here?
Yes, it was.
Were you
Yes, it
there when she gave birth?
I was not there with Brian, I don't think. I remember being there with Eric. But no, I don't. I remember coming there. Somebody called me. It might have been her mother.
Oh.
And like I said, I was out probably playing cards and having a few beers.
Okay. And then went up there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember if you felt differently each time you found out you had a child on the way?
That would have to be a yes, because each time I was pretty much at a different space in my life
Okay.
during those times.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Different age. Well, Brian and Eric kind of close in age, but
Yeah, but
a year can make a...
yeah, 2 years with a little kid running around, it changes your mind about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so when the second one come along, you know a little bit better
Yeah.
about stuff.
Yeah. So you had your boys first,
Yeah.
and then Lisa and I.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Wow,
think...
you put Lisa first for a change.
Really?
Yeah, I heard you did. You know, you did that, right? It's always, I'm the oldest.
I was trying to speak correctly, Lisa and I.
Okay.
But normally it's Lisa and Lisa. So do you feel there are any distinct differences between raising sons and daughters? So I know me, Lisa, Eric, and Brian, we always have this thing, and the boys always say they was raised by a different man in the beginning than we were raised, because you was in a different space in your life. But taking out that factor, do you think there's any distinct differences?
If you're doing it right, no, not really.
Okay.
Not really. If you're doing it right, because I mean, you tell the truth, you communicate, but the thing is, each kid is different, so you have to figure out how that communication is going to go with each kid individually because that communication is different.
Mm-hmm.
So like some kids can stand forceful verbal correction,
Mm-hmm.
and some kids you have to explain that to.
Mm-hmm.
It's different with each kid.
Okay. So do you think always being honest with your child about something is good, even if sometimes it can be a little hurtful?
Yes, you have to be honest. You have to be honest because as they grow, that what's going to set the relationship between you and your child. They're gonna if they grow up knowing that you straight up with them, you tell them exactly the way things are, and not I don't want to say sugarcoating or saying something that's not quite true just to make it easier. What it's doing is making it easier on you because
Right.
you don't want to tell it exactly how it is.
Right.
But in the long run, that pays off because they know your integrity.
Okay.
And as they grow older, they respect you for giving them the truth as they coming up.
Right. So I always feel like I'm brutally honest with Bailey, who is my daughter and she's 5. Her father is not in her life, but when she asks questions about where's her daddy or why doesn't she have a daddy or why do some kids have daddies and some kids only have mommies, I always feel like I'm really honest, but sometimes I feel bad because I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I feel like it's the best thing to do.
It is the best thing. It's uncomfortable, but it is the best thing. So once you grow up, all the questions already be answered.
Right.
You don't have to, like some people, I even heard some people tell their child that their father's dead when he's not.
They're not.
And then the child find out when they get 18 or 19 or 20, and then they resent
Right.
you for that.
Right. Okay. So I don't know. That's just something I'm just honest with her about it. So I don't know. I don't want her feelings to be hurt, but I want her to know the truth about it. So
kids is smarter and understand a lot more than we give them credit for.
You're right.
They process it and they understand it on their level, and they keep growing and they understand more about it as they get older.
Okay. Agreed. So with that same thing, do you believe that the role of a father is just as important to a daughter as it is a son?
Yes. The role of the father, it doesn't matter the gender of the child. Okay. Each one of the child, they still need the same thing. Love, nurture.
Okay. So is there anything you taught your sons that you wish you would have taught your daughters or vice versa?
Is there anything I taught my son that I wish I had taught my daughters or vice versa?
Like, I feel like we grew up as very independent children. So I kind of feel like y'all were there. Y'all were always there. But I feel like for some reason we were very independent children. But I don't know.
Well, that's just because when you was coming, Bryant was old enough to keep y'all. So,
right.
So we left y'all at home quite a bit with them. But what was that question again?
Do you feel like there's anything you taught your sons that you wish you would have taught your daughters or vice versa?
Well, vice versa. I wish I had been, when you guys came along after a couple of years or so, that's when I got in a relationship with the Lord. some of the stuff they went through, they probably wouldn't have had to go through.
Okay. So do you feel like so I guess we kind of answered this already. Do you feel like the man who began to raise your sons is a different man who began to raise your daughters? Which we kind of touched on that, but I asked that because in your book on page 29, you state the life of a Christian father lives before his sons, will be the foundation for his son's character, emotions, and personality as he enters adulthood.
Yes, that's also true whether you're a Christian father or not, which is the case with Brian and Eric. I was, like I said, alcohol was one of my best friends during that time. And that life I was living, cursing, drinking, all those traits, they picked up. So what, like the book says, influence, no matter teaching, influence. When your child is around you, whether you think you teaching them or you think they're not listening or whatever, they're soaking up everything you do. They process it and they put it in there, and then they have total recall. And so I was drinking, and actually I was smoking cigarettes back then in '77 too when Brian came along, but I even picked that habit up, I don't think.
Not that I know.
but all those habits that I had, they picked those up because that was a daily life.
Right.
Yeah, because when they come in the house from out playing, I'm sitting there drinking a beer. And sometimes I got the guys over, we drinking at the table playing cards, cursing. So they picked all that up in the early years.
Right.
And then when I became a Christian, I set out to change that. And some of the things I used to do to discipline them, I stopped doing that. I stopped yelling and demanding all this type of stuff because, when they was getting up a little bit in age, they would go out and stay out quite a bit.
I ain't do that, guys.
And, so it got pretty bad one time that I was my drinking guy wanted to put him out the house.
Right.
But my Christian guy said, give it to the Lord. So I gave it to the Lord. And over time, which is not long, the tension went from there down to there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what year was that? How old were they?
Oh, high school, coming out of high school, still in the car. See, I knew they were still in the car.
You knew they were still in the car?
Still in the car. Your mother didn't know they were still in the car. Because I had to go to work.
Right.
I get in the car, the seat way, Brian been driving. He's 6'7".
He ain't even got sense enough to move the seat back.
The seat way back there, and the car is hot.
It's still warm. They just got it out.
So I actually seen him one day. Came in the room and got the keys.
Oh my God, y'all was bold.
Let's see. I knew they was taking the car. They didn't know I knew, and she didn't know I knew. But I knew.
So did you ever say anything to them about
I never did say anything about them taking the car.
Why?
I snuck out in my day. Didn't have a car though, but we did have a mule.
Right. So what do for your children and your grandchildren?
I remember something that Martin Luther King said. He said that he wanted people to know that he tried to love somebody.
Oh, okay.
So, our legacy would be I tried to love and help somebody.
Okay. I like that. If your children remembered one word, what would you want it to be regarding their father?
Integrity.
Okay.
Tried to walk in integrity.
Okay. And what advice would you give to fathers in general, raising daughters or sons?
I would say be honest with your child. Tell them the truth. They can handle it. If the situation is a bad situation, tell them the truth. They strong enough to take it, and it will go a long ways as they grow older. If you don't give them the truth at a young age and you deceive them when they're young, that affect their adult life, and it'll take a while to get out of that. But God can bring them out of anything. So you ain't lost them. It's just that they may take the long way to get to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So at the end of your book, it states you hope to move back south for retirement, which he has done, guys. We're here in Georgia today. But that's what you left us with. So
yes.
What's next for Dr. Hurd?
What's next? What's next? You know, that's the same question I've been asking God. What's next?
What's next?
But I'm in a good place, and you know, some people say they living their best life, but I'm not living my best life. The best is yet to come, but I am living my blessed life.
Yes, come through.
And I've been in the back of my head there. I've been had this idea of putting a little something on Facebook to encourage people. You know, every now and then.
Like a live that we can tune into, or just a video?
Just a video for now.
Okay.
And then maybe live later on. I also been playing around with this keyboard I got over here, and that's something I want to do. I don't know if it's something I'm supposed to do, but it's something I want to do.
Okay.
Is learn how to play
the keyboard.
So
okay.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay. Well, thank you. And before we end, thank you for being the father you have been to me. I think you have been a great example. And sometimes it's really hard for me to understand when people don't have a good relationship with their father, because I feel like I had a great father growing up, and I feel like I've had a great father in my adulthood. And I feel like even when we did things that weren't the greatest, or other things that maybe you weren't the proudest of, you've never shown that to us. You've always shown us love. You've always shown us compassion. And thank you for introducing us to God, and for the relationship you've always shown us towards our mother. Because I feel like you taught us a lot, and you taught us what to want in a man and a husband. And our standards are high. But our faith is very great in God. So I thank you for those things. So if you have any questions, or you want to say anything to Dr. Hurd, anything about the book, the link will be down in the description. And you can reach out to me in the comments. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.